All right, ladies, welcome back to the Listing Queen Summit. I am so thrilled to be introducing you to my next special VIP speaker. Her name is Tammany Hall. Hello, Tammany.
Hello, Jan. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm so excited to showcase you to women realtors on the path to being listing queens. So Tammany has an amazing social media for real estate agent business called The Simple Touches. And Tammany, you consider yourself a lead gen specialist. But before we get to that, I just want to kind of just give people a background of what I know, and then I'm going to turn it over to you. You grew up in real estate, and I guess your parents were brokers, and then they bought a business or something, and then you were kind of working for them. So kind of but you never wanted to be an agent.
Nope.
You like the creative part.
Yes.
So go ahead and just tell us your background and how this came to be.
Yeah. So I grew up, like you said, both my parents were eventually brokers. I grew up getting paid $5 an hour to put address labels on the big postcards because nobody was doing the big ones. They stood out. And we would door knock with our parents. I was Easter Bunny one year. So like I've done all of that. Growing up, my first job was a receptionist. Oh, let me back up. My parents opened the first Keller Williams in Northern California in 2000. And so my first job was at that office as a receptionist. And then I went to auditing assistant. I've done personal assistant work for agents. I was assistant market center coordinator. Like I've done all the things. My parents actually bought me the real estate course, and it never made it out of the box because I was like, I don't want to be an agent. And then college came around. I was like, I don't want to be the boss's daughter. I want to do my own thing. So I actually studied math and education, and I taught 8th grade math for 6 years. 4 of those were overseas in Bogota, Colombia. Had a great time. And then my dad unfortunately got ill. So I came back to California to help my mom take care of him. And during that time decided I wanted to make my own schedule so I could go to his doctor's appointments. And that's how this kind of came about. So it's really special because I do feel like I'm carrying on his legacy. And he passed last year, unfortunately, but in a way, like I'm able to talk about him like this, for example, and I'm able to share like how many lives he changed. And I'm also doing the same now in the era of social media. So I feel very lucky in that sense. And he actually helped me launch my business as well. So
That's excellent. That's excellent. Yeah, because I think your 2 years was September of 22. So
yep.
Yeah, bravo. Okay. So you offer content creation hacks, video prompts, Canva tutorials. It's all just really amazing. And I wonder if your desire to not be a realtor is because of what you saw your parents doing, right? And then how does it help in helping real estate agents facilitate good in your heart? Because that's what I get from what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of it. Like my mom and I always laugh because literally every time we went to the grocery store, somebody would stop and know her and talk to her. And I, like, as a kid, my brother and I were just like, oh my God, like, but yeah, so while I was teaching, I was not making enough money, because I'm an entrepreneurial spirit. Like I knew I could make more. And so I was doing MLM marketing on Instagram starting in like 2015. So I've been on Instagram for a long time, marketing, been around the block with that and seen all the changes. And then I'm also a natural teacher. Like I've learned a lot of skills being an 8th grade teacher as far as communication styles and learning styles and coaching adults and stuff like that, because I was coaching teachers my last year. So I kind of just like, I think of it like a Venn diagram. Like I have my real estate background, I have my teaching background, and I have my creative side, and I kind of just like mushed it all together. And now I come up with services to actually help agents, because my big why is to help you be more present with your families, like you had said.
Yes, be more present. And that's exactly why I coach my clients to become listing queens.
Yes.
Because that is the way to do it. All right. So what would you say? So I didn't know that you did multi-level marketing, but so would you say that Instagram, because that's your jam, right? Instagram.
Yes.
Okay. So would you say Instagram is hard or easy? Like just talk to us, because I think Facebook is where many realtors are comfortable. And so I just wanted you to chat about Instagram, maybe from your perspective that you are the expert?
So Instagram is a very visual platform. And I think that if you're not a super creative perfectionist like myself, that can be kind of overwhelming. Now we have tools like Canva has great templates and stuff we can utilize. But if you're like, have a really hard time looking at something and like making it all make sense and look good and stuff like that, like Facebook might be a better platform for you. Keeping in mind that the demographic on each app is going to be different. Facebook is going to be your older generations. Instagram is going to be a little bit more millennials, and then TikTok's going to be a little bit more Gen Z. So kind of thinking about like, okay, do I purely want to make videos? Then TikTok might be your best bet. Do I want to play around in Canva and make things look pretty and then do some videos here and there? Instagram's where you need to be. Do I just want to type it out and let it be what it is? Like Facebook could be your jam. So like, and they all work because the premise of marketing is just getting yourself in front of your people. And all of them do that for free. You just have to decide what kind of content you want to make a lot of.
Okay. And that's very good. So we need to know, ladies, who you want to serve. Really, we get to decide. We do. We're CEOs. We're entrepreneurs. We get to decide that.
Yes.
So when you say lead gen specialist, okay. So your intention is to help real estate agents get their phone ringing, get their messages, DMs that get them moving. So what would you say is key to them seeing some fruit of their labor? Because a lot of realtors will say, I tried it. And you and I both know, and no offense, ladies who are watching, okay, you'll say, but I tried. And then I'll say, okay, how many stories? And they're like, well, so
yeah,
can't treat this like a hobby, because if we treat it like a hobby, you're going to get results like a hobby. So
exactly.
with us about seeing the fruit of the labor.
Yes. And it is tricky because lead gen is not like super crystal clear. Like I got this lead from Instagram because I posted this video. Like it's not going to be like that crystal clear. However, you will notice when you hit that sweet spot. And when I say sweet spot, I mean, your target audience is clearly defined. If I go, I just chatted with one of my clients today. We had a one-on-one coaching like 2 weeks ago, and her content now blows my mind. She specializes in horse properties. And so we talked about how she could use that to her advantage and like what kind of buyer she's looking for and all those things. And to share that on your social media, because if I'm a buyer in a super specialized position, I am 100% going to go to the person who's teaching me about buying horse properties versus the person who's like, I can help everyone. But yeah, so the piece, like if you think about the customer journey, the piece that most agents, most of my clients struggle with the most is that lead capture part, because the introduction and educate and explain usually happens with your social media content, and then agents know how to buy or sell a house. So like it's that middle piece that's kind of missing. So keeping in mind that yes, we are posting silly videos on social media with the intention of getting them off the platform. Now, there's challenges with that because the platforms are designed to be like addicting. So offering a lead magnet is really great. Like I personally, I have 2 lead magnets going right now. One is my Canva hacks for freebies, like top 10. And I just made that in Canva, and you throw it in. I use Flowdesk. If you go to my Instagram or anything, I have a 50% off coupon in there, but I use Flowdesk. It's like a checkout page. They have to give you their email in order to get the freebie. And now all of a sudden you have them and you can drip email campaign them, because email marketing is still one of the highest converting types of marketing out there. But you want to, I think that's the part that people kind of miss. Like, yeah, some leads will come in DMs or comments and stuff like that, but more often than not, you're going to need to do some nurturing there. And that I suggest doing it with email marketing. And then they'll also still see your social media content. But if you're showing up in 2 different places, that there's research that's more effective.
That's right. Okay. You said like so much there. I want to break it down for a second. So I coach my clients to repeat with delight. Okay. So that's what you're saying, like the layering of the email marketing in conjunction with the lead magnet, where they find you on Instagram because of your, like with the horse property, with your defined decision with where you're going and who
Yes.
you're, that declaration has to be made, ladies. You can't just say, oh, well, in this summit, we want to be listing queens.
Mhm.
So I suggest you do 70 to 80% of your content based around selling, what homeowners are thinking, right? Because you want to get in their brain. And as you said, the customer journey starts in the messaging. If someone is thinking about selling, but then they hear negativity about the market, well, you're going to pique their interest if you start talking about what they're feeling, what their apprehensions are, and myth bust it, right?
Yes.
So I love it. So can you share with us, let me just back it up. So there's stories on Instagram, there's posts on Instagram, there's a bio on Instagram, and then there's the highlights.
Yes.
Let's just start with their Instagram account.
Yes.
Are there bio rules that you would suggest? And then are highlights still a thing, or are highlights no longer a thing?
Okay, let's break it down because I know this is like a huge question. So Instagram has come out and said that the bio is one of the first places it looks for searchability purposes. For example, where are you located, Jan?
I'm in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay, so if someone goes and searches Richmond Realtor, you want to make sure you're popping up on that search. Okay, and the best way to do that is making sure those keywords are everywhere on your page, and your bio being one of them. So I recommend having your handle, that's the actual @ that only one person on Instagram can have, either having realtor in it or having your location in it, or both if you can. So because that's going to be super searchable. And then the actual name piece, that's the bolder piece that comes up underneath your handle on a search. Definitely put your name, or if you're a team, the person they're most likely to contact or be in contact with if they reach out. And then throw some more keywords in there. If you did like your city in your handle, do your state in your name. So you want to just kind of sprinkle them throughout. And then whatever you couldn't fit there, that's what you're going to put in your bio. Basically, the number one mistake I see on agents' profiles is I have to search and search to figure out where the heck they are in the world. And that's not good because normal leads will not do that. You want to make it like stupid obvious that you're in Richmond, Virginia. So that's kind of the main thing. The other thing is if you switch to a business account, I know a lot of agents are creators because they get access to more sounds that way, but switch to a business account, then you can actually put your address in your bio. And you can just put the city and state if you want. You don't have to put an actual address. And then under the business account, switch your category to entrepreneur, and then you can hide it. But that way you still get access to all the cool sounds. You don't get cut off because of the copyright stuff.
Okay. Switch category to entrepreneur, but then you can hide that. So
yeah,
for those people who have personal accounts, I know it's easy to switch, right?
Yes, super easy in your settings.
All right. So I heard 3 places to put the location: in your handle, in the bio name, or the name, with the bolded piece, and then in your bio.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, so that's very good. How about the highlights? Are they a thing?
They are. I just made a post about this actually, of how your Instagram page is kind of like your storefront. And so your highlights are just another way to control like the journey that they take when they start seeing your profile. Because you get maybe like 2-3 seconds of someone to decide if they're going to move on or if they're going to dig deeper. So you want to make sure that storefront's nice and clean and easy to process and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Highlights. The thing is, I would recommend, well, 100% make sure whatever you're highlighting is timeless information. I know a lot of realtors will put like active listings and stuff in there, but then they don't take them out. And it's like, well, what's the purpose of me seeing this listing 2 years ago? So make sure that whatever you put in there is timeless, like an about me one, or like a client, like testimony one, or whatever. Those are all great. You can also customize your highlight covers to be your brand colors. If you don't have brand colors, go to canva.com/colors. There's awesome tools there for you. But selecting 3 to 5 brand colors is going to make your content creation so much faster. Like you literally just can choose a template, change the colors, done. Make sure your brand colors match or don't clash with your brokerage logo though, because that's it. And then try to keep your highlights around like 3 or 4 highlights. If you have a ton, they're going to lose their effectiveness. So just be really thoughtful. The same thing goes with your pinned posts, because you can now pin up to 3 posts to the top of your grid. So you want kind of like that initial, if I click over to your page, can I clearly see that you're a realtor? Can I clearly see where you are in the world? And can I clearly get kind of like a feel for you, your brand, your personality, just to kind of keep that in mind when you're designing those pieces.
I love it. I freak out love it. Okay. So on some of them, and I'll just give him a shout out, Sales with Kales, Sales with Kales. He's freaking amazing. So his highlights, it's SALES, and it just looks really good. So that, because you mentioned the editable covers. Okay. All right. So my next question is, when you're talking about Instagram, how important is it for stories versus posts? Let's get into that chat.
Great question. So they're different in a couple different ways. So stories are going to be mainly your followers are going to see them. And stories, because they only last for 24 hours, are a super great way to build and move people down the customer journey, to nurture them. That's a great way to show off your personality, to show off the things that aren't like super like pretty to look at, but are important. Like, I don't know, like inspection day or what, I don't know, whatever it is. But because stories don't have to be picture perfect. They're not meant to be. And then you can also incorporate the interactive stickers, which can even more encourage engagement, which is how Instagram boosts your profile. Posts, the algorithm just shifted a little bit on Instagram. So posts and reels, the first thing that happens when you post is it's going to get pushed to your followers. If your followers engage with it, so like, share, comment, then it will start pushing it to non-followers. If they don't, it stops.
Wow.
So then it starts putting it out to a smaller pool of non-followers. If they engage with it, then it keeps going. And then it's like this ripple effect. And that's when the magic happens. If the new followers don't, it stops.
Okay. So it's liking, sharing, and that's it?
Liking, sharing, commenting. Those are the main ones. And saving. Those are the 4 main engagement ones.
Okay. Okay. And by the way, can we tell if somebody saves one of our posts?
Yeah.
How do we know that?
You just go to the insights on that post and it'll tell you how many people have saved it. You can't see who saved it, but you can see how many.
Okay, that's awesome. And then if I were having, like, what I teach my clients is they need to have a visibility plan. They need to choose a platform. And then, I talk to them about what to do within the platform that they choose. Okay. So what would you say is perhaps a sweet spot that you have found on Instagram, like number of posts a week? Is there such a thing? Or number of stories? Should we be in stories every 24 hours? Like, talk to us about, like, because you're an expert, if you have a sweet spot on that.
The sweet spot is what you can be consistent with. I'd say the minimum is 1 a week, minimum. Like, I would try to get in there at least every week for posting purposes. And when I say 1 a week, I'd say 1 post and 1 reel if you can. Max, I don't think there is a max, but like, you're going to max out on your time. So just whatever you can fit into your schedule. Stories though, every day, morning, afternoon, and evening, if you can, because that's, in my opinion, that's the easiest way to get in front and touch your audience, because every time you post a story, your little face goes to the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it's another opportunity for someone to click over to your profile and see more and learn more. So the more, like, I'm sure, every time you go into your profile, you probably see repeated people up in your stories because they're always on stories. Well, you know who they are, don't you?
That's how I found you. Yeah.
You're like, hey, this girl keeps popping up. I wonder what she's talking about.
So then the story content isn't as, quote, important as what you post or reel. Is that correct?
I'd say it's equally as important. I'd say the prettiness of it isn't as important.
Prettiness. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So you are making a distinction between reels and posts. Now, stupid me, I'm thinking Like, because I do + reels and I consider that a post. So what's the difference between a reel and a post?
Okay, so a post is static, meaning it's not video. And you can have just like a picture, like one, or you can have a carousel, multiple, where they slide through.
Okay. So so reels are video, and do you agree or talk to me about captions, the need for branded captions? Is that a thing or is it not? What are your thoughts on that with reels?
Okay, so Instagram has said captions also are heavy on the searchability factor. So stuffing your captions with keywords is going to be really important as well. When I see keywords, I mean realtor, real estate, your location, your city, your county, all that stuff. And how I've been doing it, because I also manage a few realtors pages, is I type up like the caption, the body of the caption that actually goes with that video. And then I have saved in my phone what I call a footer. And think of it kind of like a text version of your email signature, to where I have their name, their, if they need like license numbers or whatever on their marketing, I'll put that in there. But then the most important part of that footer is serving Sacramento, Roseville, blah, 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 but like the keywords there is going to be the most important part, because if the Instagram algorithm sees Sacramento over your page like 500 times, you better bet you're going to show up on a Sacramento search. So I'd say just really like have a nice footer saved either in your notes, you can copy paste over. I use the app WordBoard, WORD. I think it's like $5, or it was $5 when I bought it like 5 years ago. But it's an app. I'm not sure if it's available on Android. I know it's on iPhone, obviously, but you can also do like text replacement in your settings on your phone. Like that could work too. But yeah, I'll do that. And then I'll have a couple of hashtags. The new thing right now is 3 to 5 hashtags. I don't follow that, because think about all the variations of hashtags you want. You want hashtag Sacramento, hashtag Sacramento CA, hashtag Sacramento, California. There's 3 right there. Hashtag Roseville. I mean, there's so many. Hashtag NorCal. So like choose your key ones and do like a bucket. And then you can add a few that like match the actual post if you want, but 30 is your max. If you go over 30, it will completely erase your caption and you can't get it back.
Wow. Well, 30 is a lot. So
yeah, don't go over 30.
okay. And so reels or posts, or a good combination? What are your thoughts?
So it was, for a while, it was reels. Like Instagram was like, if you're not posting reels, you're not growing. They just shifted it back to where they both, what I've seen so far is they're kind of evening out a little bit. Because actually before, like the 2 shifts ago, posts were getting pushed to followers and reels were getting pushed to non-followers. And now I'm noticing it's evened out a little bit more. So you have equal opportunity to reach followers or non-followers from each post type, reels or static. So that being said, like if your goal is to get more followers, you want to make sure that in everything that you're making, it's clear why they should follow you and if it makes sense for them to follow you. So like a lot of times I'll say like follow if you live in Richmond, or follow if you're a millennial, or whatever your ideal client is.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So just speak directly. And then what are your tips for engagement, right? So what would you suggest in terms of getting, I guess, incentivizing, or, having more people like? Should you just come out and say, double tap the heart? I mean, talk to us.
That's one way. So call to actions are very important. A call to action is literally telling the person what you want them to do. Double tap if this made you smile. Share this post with someone you think would like it. Save this post for future reference. So like I will make sure I have at least one call to action in everything I post, because this is a business account and in theory you're posting to get the viewer to do something, right? And because there's so much distracting things going on social media, if you don't physically tell them what you want them to do, they're not going to do it. So yes, actually telling them to do the engagement is one. The other thing that to keep in mind is the reason social media has taken off the way it has is because it is a two-way conversation. So if I am watching TV or Hulu or whatever, and a commercial comes on, there's no real easy way for me to contact, ask a question, share a compliment with the creator of the ad. But social media, there is. And so taking advantage of that and like realizing you're posting on social media for your stuff to be shared. I know people get so like weird about like, oh my God, like they took my content, like, but that's the purpose of social media, is to share it. So just keeping in mind like the two-way conversation. Instagram's also said like they want you to be accessible to your followers. So if someone does comment, respond to the comment, even if it's a negative comment. If it reflects badly about your business, I'll just delete and block the person. But and then spam comments, I'll delete them. But yeah, being active in your comments, responding to them, telling people what you want them to do, and then making content that actually makes sense to share. So like a lot of times, like I was so hesitant to post memes because I think they're kind of corny, but realtors love them and they will share them to their story all day long. So thinking about like putting your head in the brain of your ideal client and thinking, okay, what would they find funny, or what would they want to share to their friends? And posting from that perspective versus like realtor problems. Like
Right. I agree. Oh my gosh. Yes. And so you're like, out of the 20 speakers, you're probably the 10th or 11th that said, can we look at it from the client's perspective? What are they interested in? It's not about you. It's about what are you're giving them an experience, and that client experience begins right upon their first. So if somebody were not on Instagram right now, we talked about the bio, we talked about showing up in stories. You said morning, afternoon, and evening. Repeating with delight were my words, but that's what is your biggest suggestion to somebody who says, all right, whew, I'm gonna invest in Instagram and take it seriously?
Niche down.
Yeah.
So you need to find, like, I mean, we say this all day and night, and I think it's hard because like nobody can do it for you. You have to make the decision, like, this is the person I want to work with. I want them to be on their second home. I want them to be upsizing. I want them to be like expecting a family soon. I want them to be looking for good schools. Like you need to really, and I think people are scared to do that because they don't want to like eliminate other leads. Don't worry about that, because you want to have this one person super specific in mind to create content for. And then magically content creation becomes so much easier because you know who you're talking to and you know what you want them to do. And you know that you're trying to get them to list their house with you or whatever it is. And then the other thing I thought about as you were talking as well, going kind of back to the engagement piece, is emotion invokes action. So if you can connect with the viewer, make them laugh, if you can make them feel sad, if you can make them feel excited, whatever it is, then they're far more likely to comment or share or whatever it is. So really tapping in and telling a story. You see that a lot with like the Instagram gurus, is use storytelling. Well, yeah, because storytelling will help you reach into that emotion easier.
Yes. And people really make their decision emotionally and back it up with logic. So I love that. Tamany, I could talk to you for hours, but
I could talk for hours too.
And let me tell you, it's amazing. So where do you want people to find you? What's your website and what's your Instagram handle?
Yeah, so all my services and everything are on thesimpletouches.com. You can see it up here, thesimpletouches.com. My Instagram is Realtor Social Media Marketing, and my TikTok is just Realtor Marketing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tamany.
Thank you.
You heard it from the expert.